All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming live from our Joburg office. Good morning and welcome back to the opening bell with myself, Tshepo and Ashley. And this is brought to you by TD Markets and TD Markets Academy every Mondays to Fridays at 9, streaming live on YouTube. I trust and believe that everyone is well this morning. And yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so two things we're going to be discussing this morning. We're going to do an update on the crypto, and then we're going to talk about an important report that's coming out, which is the PCE. All right. So let us start with the crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum. This is what happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum. The last time we spoke about this, we said, according to the current price action at the time, the momentum is bearish. And so Ethereum had already created a supply zone. So we said, if price was to break this, the demand zone, if price was to break this demand zone, we're going to see Ethereum falling to $1,613. All right. And that's exactly what happened. It went down according to the structure, the price action, it went down all the way down. It even came back down to this zone here, right? To that zone right there. So yeah, so this one in terms of the target, it hit the target, the setup is done. You look at Bitcoin as well, right? Bitcoin, we said, is most likely going to go down to 61,400 and 470, somewhere there, right? It went as low as, it even slipped below 60,000. It even slipped below 60,000, all right? Came back down to this low, and then now it's pushing up. So this is the update, what happened the last time we spoke, all right? We said, the momentum is bearish, and there's a higher probability that the market will drop, all right? And these were the targets. So looking at where they are right now, you have Bitcoin that has come back down to this low. It has come back down to this low. So if you look at the bigger picture, it gives us two possibilities, right? The first possibility is that this is going to create a double bottom and price will shoot back up. That is the first possibility. The second possibility is if things do not change as far as institutional adoption is concerned, and we see a continued flow of ETF outflows, then we can anticipate price to drop as the second possibility. All right. So we just need to be careful on this zone, and then just give it a bit of time. Look at the weekly candlestick, right? Observe the weekly candlestick, how it's going to close, such that you have a proper insight on what price is doing. The same with Ethereum, right? Ethereum right now, it has hit the targets. So now we are going to look at how today's daily candle will close, and ultimately the weekly candle, how they're going to close, for us to get proper insight, right, on what's happening in the market. But yeah, so the crypto, this is how it developed. All right, cool. So that's the first thing for this morning. Hope you guys capitalized. Hope you guys saw this. Hope you guys learned from this. And the second thing here that's going to be making headlines today is the PCE report. The PCE report. All right. This report is going to come out of the US, and the PCE is another measure of inflation. We are all used to the CPI, Consumer Price Index, right, which measures the prices consumers pay for a fixed basket of goods, right? That is the CPI. Now, the PCE price index, it is the personal consumption expenditure price index, right? It's the personal consumption expenditure price index. That's the PCE. This is actually the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. So what the PCE does is that it adjusts for changes in consumer spending habits. So say, for instance, consumers move away from buying expensive products to cheaper alternatives. The PCE will capture that behavior, right, making it a broader measure of inflation. So the CPI, Consumer Price Index, it measures the price changes or prices consumers pay for a fixed basket of goods. That is what it does, all right? And then the PCE adjusts for changes in consumer spending habits. So for traders, the most important number, All right. The most important number for consumers is the core inflation. The core inflation excludes food and energy because those prices tend to be volatile. All right. So, why is this report important? Why does this report matter to you and I? This release is especially important because the Fed held rates steady at its June meeting, but signaled growing concern that inflation could remain above 2% target for longer. Okay, so economists may expect PCE inflation to tick higher, largely due to early energy price spikes and tariff related price measures. All right, so what does this mean for the markets? What does this mean for gold? What does this mean for the dollar? Right? Simple term. I mean, simply put, obviously this is one of the high impact releases for the month. So the gold commodities, they are most likely going to react. So if the report comes out higher than expected, this will support the dollar. It's going to strengthen the dollar. It's going to put pressure on gold, and the US Treasury yields will likely rise, and markets will price in a more hawkish Fed or even increase expectations of another rate hike. Right. Now, if the report comes out lower than expected, then this is going to weaken the dollar. It's gonna support gold. The JPY may strengthen against the dollar, and markets may become more confident that the next Fed move will likely be towards easing. All right, will likely be towards easing. So my view here, all right, my view is that the market has become much more sensitive to inflation after the recent Fed meeting. A strong PCE reading would reinforce the idea that inflation is proving stubborn and that the Fed cannot afford to become dovish anytime soon. That would likely support the dollar and weigh in on gold, right, in the short term. So this is what will be making headlines today, right? The PCE report. We spoke about gold. We spoke about the dollar. So I'm just gonna open up gold here, and then obviously tomorrow we will talk about the PCE, right? Now, if we take a look at the gold chart, gold has slipped below. It has slipped below 4,020, right? $4,020. It has slipped below that. So obviously the dollar has been strengthening since the beginning of the week, and gold has just been falling. The commodities have been falling. Silver has been falling, right? The oil price has been falling. So where gold is right now, right? It has completed the previous cycle. So at the moment, it's really on no man's land at the moment, right? The next structure is right here. The next structure is right here. So according to this near-term or short-term view here that we have, we may anticipate price to push back down to this low of 3,900, right? 3,900, because it is basically trading within this range, right? The market bounced on the structure. Now it completed the cycle. So the break of that cycle, there's one more move expected to come back down to this low, right? That's a support. And then from there, we'll see what's going to happen. Because ultimately, this is still the bigger structure here. Gold is still trading within this bigger structure. So we'll see if gold will go all the way down. We will see if that will happen. But short term, that 3,900 psychological level, that's where we're anticipating gold to go. So if the PCE, this move will be driven by an uptick in the PCE, right? An uptick in the PCE is gonna not an uptick, but a lower than expected PCE report is an uptick in the PCE will strengthen the dollar. So which means this move is going to support that, right? This move is going to support that. So just keep an eye on the PCE, and then we'll see how gold is going to react. But we're ready for what gold is going to do in the short term. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, that is basically the morning opening bell. This morning's opening bell. We spoke about the commodities. We spoke about crypto. We spoke about the PCE. We are looking at gold. So we'll see how the dollar will react once the PCE report is out. All right. So that's it from our side, guys. Remember, if you want to open up an account, The details will be on your screen. If you guys want to learn how to analyze, how to read price action, how to read the chart, and make a more informed decision, we have the TD Markets Academy. All you got to do is to open up an account with us, sign up for an account with us, send us an email, and you will be added to the sessions, right? And all the information will be given. So guys, that's it from us this morning. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one. We will catch you guys later at 2 p.m. on the trading room. All right. Cheers, everyone.